2 videos in one day. I know it's crazy. I haven't made videos in a long time. I'm just so excited to pump them out again. Talk to you guys. Last video was talking about GLP-1s and kind of what I think. I want to change gears a little bit. This channel, I try to follow along what clients I work with, their interests. And their interests range from losing weight and just getting healthy to, hey, I want to get stronger. And I've been training for a while. So that's who this video is for. More of the, hey, I've been training for a little bit. Maybe I've plateaued. Maybe I'm bored in the gym and I want to get stronger still. What can I do? Well, there's lots of things. One of the things I want to focus on, though, is more in relation to using the same compound movements over and over again. So like if you bench, squat, dead, right? That's what you do a lot of, and that's what you're interested in. Maybe you're even training for a powerlifting meet. But even if you're not, you just want to get stronger in those lifts. You've been training for a while and you hit a wall. One of the things I want to point out, I think this, after all these years of coaching, I see this more than anything. I saw it in my own training, but then I saw it in athletes and just people training in general, is that connection between the psychophysiological, right? In other words, if you don't want to be in the gym, you're not going to really put out good effort. If you're stale, you're like, 3 sets of 5 again, 85, right? That's the kind of neurological, right, ramp up you have. That's why caffeine is helpful, right? That's more of physiological, obviously a nutrition-related physiological hype, but essentially you're generating it, through chemical means that are from nutrition. Well, you can do the same thing. When you're excited to train, you just do better. I mean, that's why you play music that you like, and etc. So is there something we do for those compound exercises that maybe you're not going to mess with too much? Like you're not going to really vary your squat too much. You like the barbell back squat, and that's what you want to do. You want to see strength gains. I would argue that having a cycle away from it would be a good idea here and there. But anyway, so what could you? Well, traditional loading, this is something I like to talk about, right? Traditional loading, like a 3x5 at 85, it's pretty brutal, right? That last set in particular can be hard, and it's usually let me back that up. Usually the second to last set is the worst because it's like, I got another set left. And then this last set, you get a little bit amped and you're juiced because you want to get it done. And you're excited. This is it, right? 5 reps to freedom. That's how I used to talk to myself when I was a college athlete. But that second last set can suck, right? And so, what are you getting out of that? And so, one of the things you could do is a pyramid. So you could do, if it's 85 flat for 5, you say I'm going to do 75, 80, 85, all 5 reps. And that's really cool. That last set should be really, really nice. The problem is that you don't get a lot of good matching early on. So you might be like 4 to fail and 3 to fail, then 2, because 70% at 5 reps. Well, then you could extend the reps. You could say, all right, I'm gonna do 70% at 8, get me closer to 2 to fail. But then by the time you get to the last set, especially with that much reps per set, you're gonna be tired. And so that last set could suck, right? Now you can flip the pyramid, which is a really good method, by the way, and you get drop sets, etc. But another option of what I'm offering here is more of a wave, okay? And you can do waves with 3 sets, but it's really, really, really helpful with sets 4 and higher. So again, this plays into those of you that have been training for a while. Maybe you're looking to add more volume or add more exposure to load, and you don't want to do flat sets, or a pyramid it's too extended, right? There's too many reps build up. And so one of the things you can do is a wave. So there's 2 different waves I'll throw at you. You can see if you give them a try, see if you like. Put in the comments if you give them a try. If you took that same 3x5 for 85, and let's say you wanted to extend it to 4, we could do it with a 3, but let's extend it to 4. It'll be easier to kind of visualize. That first set, then you could do an 80, 85, right? Build up and then drop back to 80 and then jump up to 90. So the average for the whole session would be 85%. Okay. Now at 90, you're probably looking at 3 reps, and at 80, right, you could extend it probably out to 6, even though the typical load chart says 8. You might be doing 6. So you might do 6 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps, 3 reps. And you see on average, right? On average, you end up with 5 reps per set too. So you get the same averages as you would if you did it flat loading, but you get a different stimulus, right? So, you have a lower load, not by much, but you have a lower load with 1 more rep, and then what you're shooting for, the 85, and then you drop back. And that drop back a lot of time can feel really, really good. Now, in fact, what you could do, okay, instead of changing the reps for those first, just keep everything at 5. Go 80, 85, 80, all at 5 reps. And yes, that would move you further away from 2 to fail or 1 to fail, but that drop set in particular, if you decided to take that one maybe at 5 reps, it's going to feel really good. And the trade-off is you get better bar velocity. Okay. And that really matters. So what you're trying to do is you have sets that are more bar velocity focused and you have sets that are more load focused, but they're not so far apart that it's not like you're doing sets at 50. It's not a speed squat session, right? And then when you jump up to 90, again, you shave it down to 3 reps. It'd be tough to hit, 5 reps at 90 unless you're really feeling on fire that day. And if you are, that could be a peak out day. It could be a max day. Okay. So that's just some, up and down, right? You can make the waves bigger. So you could have a bigger drop. After that first 85, you drop it back to 75 and a half, right? And then jump back up to maybe 85, 87 and a half, depending on what your earlier sets were. I think, again, these are smaller increments. If you've been lifting for a while, you might still feel this as a positive. You could do 80, 85, 82 and a half, and 87 and a half. You're like 2.5%. What's that? If you've been lifting for a while, you know that you can feel the difference, right? And that you can keep all 5 reps. So you can keep 5 reps at every single set. Okay. Again, there's just some options. Give it a try, right? You're just basically shaving reps, adding reps, right? Shaving reps off some set, adding reps the other, and then adding intensity and shaving intensity to match it, or just keep the volume flat. You'll probably find you feel a little better because the volume will be slightly lower, but even that load change can make a big difference. The last one I'll offer to you, what I think is I really enjoy, especially for hypertrophy, but it's certainly in strength as well, is just the back and forth. So kind of framed it already with just your typical wave, but I like to program this quite a bit. Let's say you're doing more hypertrophy, kind of dabbling in strength a little bit. Again, I'm assuming you're strength trained, so when I say that, you'll see what I mean by the percentages. But let's say you're doing 75% for 8, and then you go up to 80% for 6. Okay, so you're going to do that. Just go back and forth. So 75 for 8, 80 at 6. 75 for 8, 80 at 6. You might do 2 rounds. You might do 3 if you really want to push the volume, right? But rest normally. It's not a hustle between. It's set, rest between each set. But that load change, right, is a big deal. The average there for that particular session would be 77.5, right? The volume there on average would be 7 reps per set. If you wanted to average 10 reps per set, you want to do 4 by 10, you're like, I'm tired of doing 4 by 10 static load, or a static percentage, right? The load might be static, but the percentage would be, okay, well, then do a set of 12 and a set of 8, right? So you're doing a set of 12 at a lower percentage associated with that, and then you jump maybe 65, right? And then you do move up to 70 and you hit a set of 8, okay? For a lot of you, that would probably be closer to 75, right? So again, you're doing 65 and 75%, 12s and 8s. It's a pretty big spread, but it's not so big that it's not something that you'll feel like you're getting crushed. But that back and forth movement will average you 10 reps, right? And just the load change and just something different on your back or your bench, if you're doing that many reps on bench, or whatever you're doing, it'll feel different. And you may be excited just to even try it. You might find that you actually get more reps than the 40 reps you were getting before. You might be able to squeeze out 42 because you're like, man, that last set I just felt awesome. Okay. Yeah, the average percentage still was the same. So hopefully that makes sense. You can tinker with all different types of format. You heard me kind of talk about, I like the back and forth. I use that a lot. I think even just that change, right? And it could be tighter with percentage. It could be more strength focused or hypertrophy focused, but I think you find value in giving it a shot. So let me know if you try it or if you have questions, if I'm super confusing, which is possible. Let me know in the comments and I will clarify, maybe even bust out a graph, or I'll get one of those little whiteboards. We can do some stuff up in the car here. That might be helpful actually. So, all right, I'll see you guys next one. If you have any other things you like me to talk about, drop them in the comments as well. And as always, if you're needing help with your diet and training, shoot me a message. All right, see you later.